Look on your social media feeds. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's KRYPTON'S Legacy, a Superman podcast, covering all of Clark Kent's greatest adventures in comics, film, and animation.
Hello and welcome to another episode of KRYPTON'S Legacy, a Superman podcast. As always, I'm your host Adam, and with me is my co-host Nick. Nick, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing great. Happy to be here with you, brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. It's always fun to talk one of our favorite heroes together with you. We've got, of course, Superman, and it's fitting we're doing this the day after, as of this recording, the day after Superman Day. So happy belated Superman Day.
Yes.
I have my Superman shirt on. You can't see it all because I'm too lazy to get up and do the full extension, but I'm wearing a Superman shirt.
Well, somewhere in Clark's closet, he has a blue and white striped shirt. So technically, we can say that, you know.
Indeed.
I'm wearing part of his wardrobe today.
I'm sure you are. And and the fun thing about Superman Day is kind of every day in my house. So yesterday was like, all right, it's for everybody else it's Superman Day, but for me it's okay. It's Saturday, but I did manage to. Yeah. The issue for me was that it was also WrestleMania, night one of WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. So I had to kind of split my attention. But I did catch up on some Superman comics for Superman Day. And nice. While I was doing that, I did listen to the Superman 2025 soundtrack.
Nice.
So that's how I celebrated Superman Day. Did you do any Superman related thing yesterday, or?
You know, it's funny because as of this recording, I just came back from Universal Studios, so I did a nice week-long trip. I haven't been there in like 15, 20 years, so it was nice to kind of, you know, lay off some steam, go on some fun rides. You know, obviously they have Marvel there, not DC, but that's okay. You know, I love the other side still.
Right. Yeah,
no, but you know what? It was just cool because like I feel like the day kind of snuck up on me too, right? Like I feel like I knew it was Superman Day, but then once I saw all the tweets kind of pouring in, it was kind of just cool to just see people acknowledge it was Superman Day.
Right.
But obviously, like whenever I can, like, you know, if Superman the movie's on TV or if I feel like popping it in or Man of Steel, you know, whatever the case may be.
It's hard because for us, almost every day is Superman Day. Right?
Exactly.
We're always. I
don't need an excuse to watch my
to enjoy Superman. Exactly. Right. That's right. So. But you know, it's for the masses. Let the average person. Oh, hey, it's Superman Day. Exactly. That's why, you know. So But for us, that's every day. But
right.
You know, the good thing. It seems like we're in a time where, you know, Superman and by extension the people of his, inner circle, inner universe are at the forefront of various forms of media, specifically right now live action. I mean, the comics are always there year long, but right now live action is at the top of people's mind because we just had in 2025, hasn't even been a full year yet since the Superman movie, which was fantastic. Nick and I both loved it. Is up to watch. A lot of people watch that, so thank you for that. If you haven't watched it and are still in the Superman mood, go check it out. But you know what's exciting is that Superman's going to be back on screen this year in Supergirl, and then next year in Man of Tommorrow. And I love the fact that within James Gunn and Peter Safran's DCU, the Super Family is the utmost priority right now. And I love that. Because he was, let's say, how can I put this politely without dragging up old
mistreated?
He was severely underutilized in the DCEU.
There you go.
And mistreated, and so it's nice to see both he and Supergirl at the forefront of this new burgeoning DCU. So, speaking of his upcoming sequel, Man of Tommorrow, there's some casting news and speculation to discuss. So, some obvious news first, and that is that the entire Justice Gang is reportedly coming back in Man of Tommorrow. So Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, Hawkgirl, Isabella Merced on the list.
That's one.
But we're adding. No, there'll be a few today. But we're adding now. We're adding now to the list because I don't think we talked about this in our last show. But we're adding Aaron Pierre as Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
From Lanterns is going to be in Man of Tommorrow. I love this for the simple fact that, I mean, yes, the connectivity of it all, but it makes sense that if Brainiac is the chief threat of the movie, you know, an intergalactic collector, I guess, that Green Lanterns would take notice and say, you know what? We should investigate this because we are intergalactic space cops after all. Mm-hmm. Sector 2814, which is Earth, is one of the guys tasked with protecting that is Jon Stewart and Guy Gardner. So it makes sense that they're both in there. Unlike the last attempt at the DCEU, where, oh, don't worry, we'll just film some random dude in the director's garage in CGI pajamas and maybe include him in a movie that we're never going to get to make. You know, I like that Green Lantern's not an afterthought in these things. Like, I like that he's at the forefront. Especially, like I said, makes sense to me since Brainiac is an intergalactic, you know, threat. Mm-hmm. What do you think about, first of all, the entire Justice Gang?
They might be the Justice League.
Well, eventually, this is to me, this is the proto setup for this is what's going to set up the Justice League, this movie. Mm-hmm. But what do you make of the Justice Gang returning, but also the addition of Aaron Pierre as Jon Stewart?
I mean, yeah, the Justice Gang coming back to me is the equivalent of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Meaning that, you know, they were hits in the first movie, all of them to some degree. So it makes sense James Gunn would want to build upon that in the sequel. And clearly there's a dynamic with Superman worth exploring. So I love that. So I have no problem with them being in this movie. Obviously, Brainiac's a world, global level ending threat here. So you're going to need as many characters to help Superman out as possible. Hopefully the costumes get a little bit of an upgrade too. I know that's the one thing I'm hoping for too is, you know, hopefully Hawkgirl gets that more iconic comics accurate costume we're all hoping for. Jon Stewart's in the movie. Let's kind of tease up the romance a little bit because I know we're all kind of looking for that. Yeah, but you kind of said it best, and that Aaron Pierre being in this movie really gets me excited because I myself, probably much like you, I love Justice League. I love Justice League Unlimited. Jon Stewart was my Green Lantern growing up, and I love that character so much. There's a lot of richness and complexity you could explore with that character. There's going to be 2 Green Lanterns in this movie too, right? So Guy Gardner and Jon Stewart. That's going to be fun. See how that weaves together. But to me, there's a sense of urgency that like he's going to be a top guy in the DCU, and I love that, right? Especially coming hot off the Lanterns trailer, mixed reception, you know. It's cool that like we know that Jon Stewart coming out of the show is a priority.
Yeah.
And I personally love that. So I'm all on board with all that.
So now we have a new edition. Possibly more than one new edition.
I'm going to get 3 pens out for this one.
And we're not sure who either of them could be. I mean, there's speculation. The trades all say different things. But one thing that we can confirm for certain is that, let me pull it up here, Adria Arjona, who for most people in nerd circles will know her from the Star Wars series Andor, has been cast in Man of Tommorrow. The Hollywood Reporter, when they reported it, said, we're unsure of who she's playing. although rumors initially had her playing Maxima. Deadline says, well, she's playing Maxima. Okay. Yet, now, Adria Arjona has posted on Instagram, reposted Isabella Merced's post about them working together. So she's confirmed that she's in it. But neither her or James Gunn has said, hey, here's our Maxima. Because, he did that when eventually, when he confirmed that remember when he confirmed that Nicholas Hoult was Lex Luthor, he said, hey, he's Lex Luthor.
Right.
And, Lars, whatever his last name is that I can't pronounce, is Brainiac. He's yet to come out and say, Adria's playing Maxima. So there's all this speculation of, there's a thought that Wonder Woman might appear in this movie because her film is being written by Anna Nogueira. Who wrote Supergirl. And that's probably going to be one of the next live-action DC movies that gets the green light is Wonder Woman. My prediction is that that's going to be the premier attraction of 2028. That's going to be the main, the big DC movie is the Wonder Woman reboot. A lot of speculation that she's going to appear in Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the other wrinkle. There's also been a lot of talk of the Argentinian actress. Let me pull up her name because I don't have it memorized. Eva Di Domenici being in Man of Tommorrow. That hasn't been confirmed by any of the trades, but what makes it interesting is that she is currently training with the physical trainer who's training who trained everybody in Superman and everybody in Man of Tommorrow. Now, either he's got enough time to train everybody in Man of Tommorrow and on the side, for no apparent reason, just because she wants to stay fit, also train Eva Di Domenici, or Eva Di Domenici is also in Man of Tommorrow. Complicating that is Eva Di Domenici was recently asked, so, are you in Man of Tommorrow? She said, I can't talk about DC, but everybody involved in that movie will be revealed soon. Now, Nick, let me ask you this. If she was not in either Man of Tommorrow or a DC movie, why would she say, I can't talk about DC? She could just as easily say, I ain't in it.
Yeah.
Right? So, does it make sense to assume that she is also in Man of Tommorrow? Or somewhere in the DCU?
No, I think you're spot on. I think both of them, Adria Arjona and Eva Di Domenici, are both in this movie. Just something. Now, what is fascinating, to add further layers to this, because then I know we're going to set it up, because there's quite a bit to break down with this, is there's been talks that whoever one of them is a front for the other. Meaning that it's weird that Adria Arjona, who is, by the way, one of the most gorgeous looking women.
Oh, yeah, I'm behind. Wait a minute.
Let's just
Adria Arjona. Hold on. Adria Arjona.
If you've never seen Hitman on Netflix, do
on the list. Also,
Eva
Di Domenici.
Yeah. So
on the list. What's the 3 today so far?
Yeah, right. It might have more. Careful.
Oh, we've got one more for sure.
Rachel Brosnahan from my hot one.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Rachel Brosnahan. She's going to be a pen click fest.
But I always love that. But where I'm going with is, I've seen so many things that, Adria Arjona not being confirmed as Maxima is a front for Wonder Woman. I've seen Eva Di Domenici could be Wonder Woman. Maybe Adria Arjona is Maxima. But, it's weird that, the character of Maxima is not being confirmed. Right? Because we could easily just assume that Wonder Woman is one of them. And maybe she's
I think one of these two women is Wonder Woman, and the other one is Maxima.
So do I. So I don't know if you were going to ask who do I think is who, but
Well, yeah, okay. Well, let's go there because I think let's say I think one is Maxima, one is Wonder Woman.
Exactly. I feel like that's the main.
Or Maxima's just a front, and one is Big Barda, and the other one's Wonder Woman. But somewhere, Wonder Woman is, I think, in this thing.
Exactly.
So, which do you think is which?
So my gut is telling me that Adria Arjona is Wonder Woman. The reason being, and this isn't to discredit the character of Maxima, because obviously if you've read something like Panic in the Sky, she has quite a bit of a substantial role in that.
Maxima's
right?
cool. I like Maxima. Yeah.
You know, she's known to be working.
She's like an intergalactic Poison Ivy. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because that character to me kind of resembles what the Engineer was in Superman, where it's like you don't really need a known-ish actress to play the character of Maxima, which is why I could see this thing where like the character has a little bit of a redemption arc. That's James Gunn's thing. The actress who played the Engineer played it pretty well, right? So I can see like Eva DiDimenci as like Maxima because she's quite beautiful herself. She's got a fieriness about her in terms of like images that I've seen her and stuff like that. So I can see her pulling off that. But you know, Adria Arjona to me is like the equivalent of like it's as perfect of a casting as like David Corenswet was to Superman, right? Like you look at her spot on and you're like, that's Wonder Woman, right? And obviously she's got the looks, she's got the charm. I think she's got the right build for it. She's the proper person that her screen presence is so large, it's so big that like I can't take my eyes off her. And that to me is Wonder Woman. I'm not being sexist. I'm not doing any of that stuff. But so that to me is like Adria Arjona is Wonder Woman when I look at her. Now, could she be Maxima? 100%. But I feel like if you're gonna bring on an actress of that caliber, you make her one of your tentpole characters in the universe. So I'm very fascinated because it seems like I don't think they're going to do the BVS route with Wonder Woman here. But clearly the character being announced so late in the game.
What do you mean by that in terms of BVS route?
Like she shows up in like she's like a minor character in terms of like the overall movie. It seems kind of late in the game for that. Like I feel like we would know about that. But in terms of like it's just a retread. Meaning, like, it's the flip end of, like, you know, how Wonder Woman shows up in the movie. We clearly know she's in the movie.
People have been speculating that she comes in as a cameo, much like Supergirl.
That's what I was anticipating, too. Because, like you said, especially with her movie being rumored to come out shortly after Man of Tommorrow, I would assume so. It just makes all the more sense that, like, she's, like, a tease in the movie. Maybe she has a few scenes in the movie, but... So I'm leaning more on that end. But if the character has a bigger role in the movie, then, you know, all systems go.
I'm all for either way, yeah. My thing, okay, here's my thing. I think what you said about Adria Arjona playing Wonder Woman makes a lot of sense. And I could definitely see that playing out. I'm going to play devil's advocate and go the other way. Just because... There's something about... I'm not saying Adria Arjona is super known, because she's not. But she has a little bit more face recognition than Eva DiDimenci. But there's something to be said of casting an unknown in a tentpole role like Wonder Woman. You know, if you think about David Corenswet. Who really knew who did? Unless you watch those Netflix movies that he was in, or Twisters that he was in, right? You really beforehand you didn't know who he was really. I mean, what Gal Gadot was? I mean, okay, she was the hot girl in a couple of Fast and same thing. Same franchise, different.
Depending on who you are, same thing.
Yeah. So, but you know what I mean. Fast and the Furious, whatever. But she wasn't. It wasn't like she was, on award circuit.
Transformers.
Big ticket. You know, actually, Megan Fox was more well known than Gal Gadot. But you know what I mean. So
Yep.
there's something to be said about the unknown quantity playing Wonder Woman. That's why I say it could very well go either way. I'm of the opinion either of them could be Wonder Woman. Either of them could be Maxima. Either one could be Maxima. And you know what? Whichever one it is, I trust James Gunn because, like you said, the engineer. I can't remember the actress's name.
Is it Maricela? Let me see. I can look it up.
Yeah, I can't remember. I feel bad about not remembering.
No, it's okay. I'll look
she
it up.
was very... I'm old. I'm getting old, folks. I'm 40.
Yeah. Maria Gabriela
Di Faria. Yeah.
Faria? Hopefully I say that.
Right.
Pronounce that.
We probably bungled it, but it's okay. She was very good, right, as the engineer. So I trust that James Gunn, when it comes to casting, he has yet to let me down in the DCU. Come to think about it, his Guardians casting was all pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So, if it is Eva that's playing Wonder Woman, great. If it's Adria, great. If it's vice versa for Maxima, I'm good. So, I'm happy either way. But unless the cast, even the cast list coming out would not 100% give it. Until I see this movie and Wonder Woman is not in it, then I'll believe Wonder Woman is not in it. At this point.
Yeah.
But Maxima is in it, I believe, for sure. And again, an intergalactic warrior woman coming to find a mate, and she thinks Superman is the one. If I'm Superman,
if the shoe fits.
If I'm Superman, you got to be Superman not to fold to either of those women. I'll just say that whichever one is cast as Maxima, you got to be Superman. If she comes saying, "I've chosen you as my intergalactic mate," yeah,
he's got Lois and Cat Grant at home.
I know, but I'm not Superman, so I'd probably fold. But it would take a Superman not to fold. Is what I'm saying. So exciting casting, exciting expansion of the world of the DC lore. I wish Man of Tomorrow was coming tomorrow. But the good news is, as of this, when you hear this recording or watch this video, Man of Tomorrow will be filming. So
that's the most exciting part. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So as you're watching this, Man of Tomorrow is filming, and there's probably some illicit, cell phone grab imagery of either Maxima or, heaven help us, Wonder Woman, and the internet's broken.
There's already been an image dropped online already.
Here we go. Welcome to us being behind because that's just the nature of how this thing works.
We prayed for this, Adam.
Yeah.
And it happened.
We prayed for this and it happened, as Drew McIntyre would say. So there we go. But exciting times for Man of Tomorrow, and it's going to be a fun ride. You and I covering the lead up to the film, and then eventually covering the trailers, and then eventually watching the movie and doing another review for another Superman movie. And you know what's the best part about all this, Nick, before we take a break and then go on to our next segment? The best part about this is it hasn't even been a full year since Superman came out, and they're already filming the sequel. What a difference a decade makes. And not only a difference a decade makes, but what a difference top tier creative people behind the scenes who know what they're doing actually handling these characters. That's the best part. So with that, take that as you will. We're going to take a break, and then on the other side, we're going to talk about the second trailer for Supergirl. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
What's up, everyone? It's the Emerald Enthusiast. For all of your multiverse viewing and listening needs, check out our shows, which include Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, Power Rangers, the Marvel Universe, and the DC Universe, including the Emerald Echo podcast. You can check us out on Podbean, and remember to subscribe right here on YouTube. That's the Multiverse Musings Podcast Network. From the first podcast to the last.
And we're back, and as promised, we are going to discuss the full-length trailer, the second trailer, officially, for Supergirl. One of the things, Nick, that I really enjoyed about this trailer was right off the bat, there's a connection with Superman. Like, well, we start out by seeing Supergirl playing catch with Krypto in space, which is, just a cool visual in general. But then it pans into her ship or space bus or whatever you want to call it, and we see a video message from Superman in his fortress, just checking in on Kara, seeing how she's doing, and wondering when she's gonna. And she talks about, your family misses you, meaning him, and what have you. And she responds and then he says, the longer you're away, the least likely, the harder it's going to be for you to find your place on Earth. And she says something to the effect that I have no family, no place on Earth. And it really stresses the point that, at least to her, and where she is in her life, Krypto is the only family that she has. And then we see a flash back to Zor-El sort of setting her up in the ship, and we see her take off from Krypton. And the really cool thing about that visual is we see the starting of Krypton's explosion from her point of view inside the ship. I thought that was really clever and really unique, because we've never seen the destruction of Krypton in live action from that perspective. I thought that was really, really cool to see from that angle. So we see her just chilling with Krypto on, I don't know what planet it is. Krypto, being the rambunctious, troublemaking, lovable dog that we all remember from Superman, runs at some space pirates, which of course is Krem and his crew. He runs towards their ship, and they shoot him with a trank gun that apparently infects him with some sort of virus that's going to kill him. Ruth tells us, or Ruthie, I don't know if is it Ruthie? I'm not even sure, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that nobody's correct. Nobody said the right pronunciation, so until I hear it, it's kind of hard. But anyway, she basically tells Supergirl that they carry the antidote on them, and Krypto has three days to live, unless they get the antidote. So, really, the movie seems like it's a. And then we also hear that Krem was responsible for killing Ruth's family, which, if you've read the comic, and this is only because moviegoers don't know Ruth or Ruthie yet. Mm-hmm. So the hope is that if the filmmakers have done a good enough job, they'll care about her throughout the course of the movie, and they'll care about her story, which is getting revenge for her parents' death. But from us, for the perspective of us from an audience member right now, our concern is, okay, this is not getting revenge for Krypto. This is what this movie is. This movie is not about saving Krypto. Never mind what you're doing with Ruth. Get the goddamn antidote. Get the goddamn antidote for Krypto. So then we see another shot of the bar fight that we saw in the teaser. But the cool part about this was Ruth is basically hiding in like a storage closet or something of that nature, and we see like bar stools and furniture and glass and like being propelled and hurled, in the perspective of the camera, and we're seeing it from that perspective as opposed to like Supergirl doing it or the people the Ravagers she's fighting doing it. Like, so we're seeing it from that perspective, which again was another cool shot. And then who I predict is going to be the scene stealer of the movie shows up, and we get a better look at Lobo. And you see him drinking. That's the first shot we see. And he basically tells Ruth and Supergirl to shut up because she's getting him a headache. You see Krem basically taunting Supergirl as she's in pain and as she seemingly has tears. Within that shot, you see that. Remember in the book, there was that planet that she was on that was sort of riddled with kryptonite, and it almost had like a green. It was like almost like a green planet because of how much kryptonite that had. Right? You see that a little bit in the trailer, and there is more of a green hue to those scenes, right? Mm-hmm. But the signifier, if you're paying attention, is the sort of cracks and the veiny kind of look of Kara's cheek, which is sort of how you know when a Kryptonian's being infected with kryptonite, is they get that veiny look in their skin. That was, we saw that a bit in Superman, but that was also popularized in Small. I feel like that was a thing in Smallville.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that carried over. Mm-hmm. Then we see Supergirl unleash her heat vision on one of the Ravagers. I assume it's one of the Ravagers. Again, great shots of Lobo on the motorcycle. And I love the look of the bike. The bike looks really cool. But even Lobo himself, I mean, picture perfect from the comic. I really like Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I really did. I thought him as Aquaman and Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, as well as obviously Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, were the highlights of the old DCEU for me. Those three characters were really the standouts. But as much as I liked him as Aquaman, I mean, the perfection of this casting cannot be understated. He looks like he's having a ball. Then we cut to a scene near the end of the trailer where it's clearly like a flashback scene or a scene that takes place earlier in Kara's life, where it's baby Krypto and he's jumping around as Kara's kind of waking up from her sleep, and he's jumping around her and all that stuff, which is really cute. Baby Krypto is adorable. Again, if grown up Krypto sold a lot of merchandise for plushie merchandise for the Superman movie, baby Krypto is going to sell even more stuff for the Supergirl movie. And then at the end we get a scene where Lobo and Supergirl meet again, and they're seemingly teaming up to fight, teaming up in a fight. And Lobo says, "Aren't you that ditz from that dive bar from a while back?" And Supergirl says, "Well, funny, that's what I've been referring to you as." I love their banter with each other. Mm-hmm. And then you hear Momoa as Lobo say "touche," and he starts just swinging around his chains and like taking out a bunch of again, I assume they're Ravagers, but I really, really enjoyed this trailer. As much as I enjoyed the teaser, I thought this was a step up from that. There was a lot more color in this trailer. I liked the song choice that they used for it. What's your take overall on the whole trailer?
I really like this trailer. I think for me, this is a trailer that the teaser kind of like was like a little preview.
Yeah.
I feel like usually it's like a little snippet of what's to come. This one to me checked every box that I was looking for. Meaning, like, I got a glimpse of the visuals, which look amazing. So I think diehard purists, if you love the comic book, if you haven't read it, read it.
Yeah.
Have nothing to worry about visually. I think there's going to even be planets that we're not even seeing that are probably just as colorful, maybe even more than what we're seeing. So I'm excited for that. Millie Alcock, terrific. Already looks amazing. She's already a linchpin of the DCU for me. She's been on my list already. She's on yours. She's on maybe more than one.
But she exudes the character as well.
And she just you look at her and again, like you see Supergirl, which is what you're supposed to do. So I'm really excited for her performance. And like, I love that the movie focuses on Supergirl and Krypto. Like that to me, that's your hook going into the movie. And it's like, there's like a nice balance between emotional trauma and just comic book action. And like, I love that. Hopefully the balance works. I know there's been movies that have tried to tackle it and usually one outweighs the other. So I'm hoping there's a nice balance that's struck here. Because like you said in the beginning, she's got a lot of trauma she's dealing with. It makes sense why she loves Krypto and she wants to hold on to him so much. So I love that. I love that the hook is that he has 3 days to live. And the movie is like, it's like a heist movie, maybe revenge movie.
It's almost like a John Wick. John Wickish, yeah.
And so, it's like trying to get a cure while also trying to prevent this girl from not murdering someone. So it's like you're going to get your Supergirl and you're going to get kind of, your comic book movie action, your inspirational Supergirl that we all want. So.
And you can already see that she's going to grow into that because there's a moment in the trailer where she tells Ruth, presumably, revenge won't take away your pain.
Yep. Right.
So even she, from where we saw her at the end of Superman, with, carefree, drunk, and the whole 9 yards.
Right.
Like even in the trailer, you can already see the progression of the character. Right?
Yeah, and like you said, and Lobo looks great too. Like I had my reservations, but like now that I've seen the dynamic in the trailer and like in action, I think it is going to be really fun to see play out on the big screen. And Jason Momoa, like you said, looks like he's having the time of his life.
And again,
audiences love that,
right? And again, in the context of this is a spacefaring adventure where they traverse to different alien planets. It makes sense that a bounty hunter like Lobo would appear, like as opposed to, hey, we're gonna throw, let's I know this won't make sense, but that's the point. Let's throw the Flash in this movie. Well, the Flash doesn't make sense, for this movie. But Lobo makes sense, right? Like, I love the connected universe, but I also love it when the appearance of another character from said universe makes some sense, and it's not just there to say, "Hey, look who's here."
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And Tom King wanted to use Lobo in Woman of Tomorrow and just couldn't fit him. So like that again tells you there's some synergy there already. So it works out. If I did have to play devil's advocate or throw out a concern to some degree, I would say I still don't like the look of Creme. It feels kind of too Hellraiser-y to me. And, I know in a lot of these comic movies, Adam, is like, the villain usually is considered the weakest part of the movie, whether you want to say that's both in look and performance. And I'm not trying to say I hope the guy's performance is bad, because I don't. And I hope the look is just, this
if the performance is great, I think it'll...
And I don't even like Creme as a villain in the actual comic itself, so maybe who knows? Maybe
and you know what the best? What I will say though, I get why they made the change for the simple fact that in the comic he just looks like a dude with red hair and a beard.
Right. Which
I mean, so you know what I mean? Like he looks like to bring up WrestleMania, he looks like Sami Zayn.
Sure.
Right. So I mean, Sami Zayn does not look threatening.
Yeah.
So he does look kind of like a knockoff of, of a Mad Max character.
Yeah.
But
hey, not everybody looks the same on different planets. So maybe they're just leaning into that.
Yeah. But
yeah,
I know, I hear you. It's not the best look, but again, if his performance is good, then
I can live with it, and I'm sure we'll all be fine.
Right. Exactly. But just before we wrap up, the other interesting thing from the CinemaCon, because they showed some extended footage, that didn't end up online, because why the hell would it? Fans are going to be the ones that go watch this thing. The theater owners just
Nothing in DC ever leaks. Come on now.
used to. Like no tomorrow. I'm kind of glad it doesn't anymore, because the drama. I don't want to hear the drama. I'm tired of the drama.
Yeah.
We've been drama free. Let's keep it that way. But from the CinemaCon footage, they say they did add in reshoots more Superman, to the point where we see a scene where he first greets her when she arrives on Earth, which is a cool thing to see. I'm looking forward to that. And I think Craig Gillespie, the director, mentioned something about Millie Alcock learning, I don't know if it was 5 or 9 different alien languages.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool.
That's very cool.
Because they could have taken the easy route to just put it in English and say it's a different language. But they went the extra mile to create, 5 or 9 languages, whatever it is. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, but I really like this trailer, and I'm so looking forward to this.
Yep.
To this movie, based on the fact that I love the comic. And so, can't wait till June. June 26th to be precise.
Hell of a Father's Day weekend choice right there.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's a can't wait. I'm excited for it. So, again, if there's another trailer, when there is, we'll cover it. But we will be back. Definitely, you'll be seeing a lot more of me and Nick talking about Superman-related things, because, like we said, Man of Steel is filming. And so I'm sure there's going to be a lot to talk about in the very near future. So stay tuned for that. But if you want to talk more DC and Superman and Supergirl with Nick or myself, you can on social media. Nick, where do they track you down?
Fun time as always, brother. I am on all social media. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. You can find me at Nick Zenick, and you can also most notably hear me over on the Vigilante 1939 podcast. It's a DC Marvel box office leaning show. Just type the name of the show. You'll find it anywhere you get your podcast set. And I have written reviews over on moviearcher.com. So check all that out. Thank you.
Check all those places out. All good stuff there. If you want to track me down, I'm on Twitter at Adam_LeafSfan. I'm on Blue Sky. Basically, just search the same thing. There's a longer extension. It's weird to try and say that on the air, but Adam_LeafSfan is generally where you can find me. We also have the Facebook group, which will be listed in the notes below. Click the link. I'll add you. We can continue the conversation there. But until next time, Superman and Supergirl are forever. From the first time they meet in the comics and on screen to the last. So long, everybody.